You're listening to the Business and Life Podcast, where 7 days a week, proven entrepreneurs share their success stories, failures, and give you true value on how you can build a great business and an awesome life. With your host, Mike Olivas.
All right, Geoff, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Mike, for inviting me.
Absolutely. Let's tell our listeners where you're calling from, of course, and also something interesting about yourself.
Okay, so I am calling from Newcastle upon Tyne, which is about an hour from the south of the Scottish border. Something interesting about myself. I grew up with a grandfather who had a sweet factory.
Really?
So
Willy Wonka?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So I was the taster with my sisters and my cousins and everything, and it was an amazing childhood to have.
What?
Not so good in the teeth, but you know.
Oh my God, you had the endless golden ticket.
Indeed, exactly. Yeah.
Very cool, awesome. Well, that's very interesting. And tell us a little bit about performance and mindset specialist. So geoffnicholson.com is the website, right?
geoffnicholson.uk.
Okay, so it's geoffnicholson.uk, not .com.
Yes.
That's right. Thank you.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, and performance and mindset specialist. What is that? Who needs one? Let's talk about that.
So a performance and mindset specialist for me is I work with entrepreneurs, high performance people who are looking at, as you call your show, business and life. It's looking at both aspects of it and making sure that they maximize the enjoyment, the fulfillment, and the performing at the optimum level in both. And I do that through the coaching and support and mentoring and getting them to achieve that.
Okay, very cool. And how long have you been doing this?
I have been doing it for 11 years now.
Wow.
November 2007 is when I started. So 12 years, actually.
That's when I started my company. That's awesome. So
there you go.
You've been in the game for a while as well. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of trials and tribulations, I'm sure. Tell me something about, I like to ask people about failures as well. I think a lot of people miss that. And I think it's important for our listeners as entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs to see that is part of the game. And I try to create some comfort around it, but also just transparency. You've had some close to rock bottom situations. Talk about that. Do you have any situation like to share with us where you were close to either throwing in the towel or giving up or just having to really overcome some obstacles?
Specifically in the business aspect or in life or business?
Well,
okay,
I think both could be fine because they all kind of mesh together, but whatever you like.
Okay, so the biggest one in my life was I was never very good at dealing with my emotions or the stress element. I would always be working to the top level, and I don't like to say no and that sort of thing. And in 2000, I was rushed to hospital with meningitis. Kind of like got hit by that, and really speeding it up. A year later, I was hit again with meningitis, almost to the day, and then I spent 18 months sleeping for about 20 to 22 hours a day. And then I was ill for 4 years, housebound, unable to really move about, suffering from depression, low self-esteem, all of that sort of stuff. And life just got really hectic. I've got a young family. Well, he certainly did then. I've known my wife since I was 8 years old, and we've been married since we were 20 and 21.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I actually got to the point where I gave my wife and my kids a kiss, and I left the house to commit suicide because I didn't see any real way out. And it wasn't out of cowardice. It was out of, I can't put my wife and kids through that. But the weird thing is, Mike, in those strange moments, there is also a moment of clarity. And although I was heading to the tree, I also got this very clear, I guess, mission, if we're going to take it from one point, that I was going to take people from desperation to inspiration in whatever aspect that was in their life. And that's been my mission ever since.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's,
You're welcome.
I really enjoy when people share the life moment, because it looks like, and especially with what you're doing now from mindset and knowing that that's such a big part of human psychology when someone suffers from depression, that the mess becomes a message a lot of times in the self-help and development world. And it's obvious that yours has. So congratulations on you for getting through that. And also now really just turning that into your message, but helping others do what you have done. And that sounds like the mindset obviously is a big part of that. And then of course, performance kind of comes into play with that mindset. So what do you think? We have a lot of you have a lot of years under your belt with the entrepreneur side, and things have kind of come and gone from. It's not all donuts and rainbows and
No.
and good and sunny days now, right? We get that, but
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
tell me why you think a lot of entrepreneurs out there just decide to throw in the towel.
I think part of the biggest problem is it's amazing how many entrepreneurs don't have a plan. You can sit there and go, what is the plan that you're trying to achieve? And they can like completely look flummoxed. They'll have a very short idea, but they don't look at it in a long enough case. And I think because they don't have that plan, they certainly stress goes up. And you'll know yourself that having your own business may be great fun, but it's also extremely stressful as well. But without that plan, you lose direction. I think when you lose direction, you also lose momentum, and then overwhelm can kick in. And with the plan, they're not staying as best as they can ahead of the game in order to be proactive in making the decisions that they need to make.
That's a really good point, that the stress factor it's just going to be there. I think that's the transparency that we put out there. But people like you in your industry, I would assume that this is the point of, let's talk about how to deal with that stress and not dodge the bullets, but take them on and find the way to do so on an effective level. And just, again, I'll go back to that. I love the word mindset. Obviously, it's in your role. And I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in your role, the title, but I think that's definitely important for people to understand, that you can keep working on yourself and learning how that stress is coped with differently, versus it's not like, the lawsuits are going to stop. It's not like you're going to have employees just be skipping into the office so excited, right? Like that doesn't happen day to day.
No.
It doesn't. You're
No.
going to have the tissues, and people are going to cry, and your top salesperson's boyfriend's going to break up with her or him. And next thing you know, it's like, okay, all hell breaks loose, and now you're a psychiatrist inside the office. But that's part of the game, part of the learning process, part of it. So I appreciate that feedback on that. So tell me a little bit about what you're excited about as a business owner in your industry right now in your company. Life Nation, we're all striving towards different goals. Maybe your goal is to finally quit the 8 to 5 grind, quit your job, or take the next step with your existing business. Whatever the goal may be, regardless of your reasons, if you are serious about taking the next step and finally trying to build the life that you deserve, the life that you want to live, take the leap of faith. Go to michaellevis.com and let's discuss your goals and life. It's 100% free. There's no obligation. It's michaellevis.com. Schedule a quick call. I'd love to help.
So for me, the biggest thing that I'm working on at the minute is writing or working on my book. Now, for transparency purposes, I have written this book 3 times, and I have hard deleted it 3 times. Not proud of those moments, but so I'm guessing the way that I can, I think Ed Sheeran described it on one of his documentaries, was it's about getting using the water pump and clearing out all the mud. And I'm hoping that it's finally going to come to that one, but I've handed it over once I've written it. My mastermind are keeping master copies, so I don't hard delete it this time.
Okay, good. Well, I hope that you finish that thing and get it out there for the world, to see and start learning. Hey, so what's a holisticpreneur?
The way I look at it is, a holisticpreneur is someone like a therapist, a life coach, a new business coach just starting out, someone who is looking at changing the world through, maybe they don't necessarily have the business acumen, but they've got the passion of changing the world. And it's about supporting people like that.
Awesome. Who needs a performance and mindset specialist like you? Who is your demographic? Who knocks on your door saying, I need help? There's a lot of entrepreneurs listening, and I think that's something where I think that we know that it's funny because we target the mindset of entrepreneurs because we know we're going crazy out there, and everyone's like, how do I make sense of it all, right? I get it.
Absolutely.
Good target demo, but who needs one?
I think for me, it's the forward-thinking person that wants to be proactive, wants to let go of their ego that says they know everything, and wants to maintain that optimum level of performance that they're wanting to achieve over and over again. And by having, by working with someone like me or any other coach, what you've got a multiple benefit of having someone who's got your corner that's not going to judge you. The other thing is, and it's the amazing thing, is that accountability, because when you are at the top of your game, you own your business, you are not accountable to anyone else. And that accountability, that ability to go to someone and saying, this is what I'm going to get done, because despite all the noise that's going on, and if you've just started out, you're in charge of marketing, accounting, you're in all of those departments. I think the key thing is to have someone who's got your back, who knows the skills, who knows the strategies that are going to allow someone to maximize that performance, because they're corporate athletes. That's what they want to do. They own their own business and they want to be at the top of the game.
Awesome. We have a really good business and life, because this kind of connects to obviously the Business and Life podcast. But the question I have is, how have you created a life that you want to live through your business?
So the key thing is because of what I went through, I learned that the most important thing to me is myself and my family. Now, I put me first because it's what I call being positively selfish. And it is basically the rule of the oxygen comes down, you put it on yourself first before you can help the others.
Right.
My family are everything to me. We talk about every business decision, and I have done to my kids ever since they were little. But the family and keeping my family involved and keeping everyone involved and having that really good, strong support structure and having fun. I mean, owning your own business is tough enough, but to me, owning your own business is all about having fun as well. So I think having that family unit support structure and having fun is the biggest thing for me.
Absolutely. I think that, the objective here is to remind people that we're not trying to scare them to start a business, right?
Yeah,
We sometimes
totally.
talk about the wild parts of it, but the benefits are so much bigger.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
100%, you're able to create that life like you have, obviously, to spend more time with the family and be more present at the soccer games or at the basketball games or whatever it might have you, at the, the Christmas parties where you're just, sure, you have some things in the back of your mind, but I think it's important to understand that the engine is the business, but you can't forget what it's feeding. It needs to feed the life. The engine can't just feed more and more business, because at some point there's just a burnout effect. I don't care how passionate you are. No. You will start, the human body is going to start being like, listen, man, slow down. Let's find out what the why is and back into that. And I think that's exciting that, again, congratulations for you to be able to build something successful like that.
Yeah, you bring that good point up. It's remembering what you're doing it for. There are so many people I'm working with or have worked with in the past that have lost track and sight of actually what it is they're doing it for. The cliche of the guy coming home and realize that everyone's left and relationships have ended, or women, business women who are highly motivated getting out there and they're so focused on their career that they forget about the family and the kids that they want to do. You've got to remember what it is that you're doing for, because that's going to keep you sane during the hard times.
Yeah, exactly. Sanity is important.
Absolutely.
Gym time, meditation, take walks, or, obviously go to your website and get some help, because that's necessary.
That's there as well.
And I hope people do that. So before we jump off here, a little exit kind of question. What's the kind, with all your business experience, your successes, what kind of advice would you give current entrepreneurs out there listening?
I think the big one is times are going to get tough when you're an entrepreneur or just generally in life. And I think the strong thing is make sure you've got a really strong plan. Make sure you understand that you never surrender to mediocrity, and you are being the best example to yourself every day, and be courageous every day in doing the things that you really, really want to, because not only do you benefit yourself, but you benefit all of your loved ones around you, and you deserve to have an amazing life. So if you want to be exceptional, you've got to do the work.
I love it. Spoken like a true expert on the mindset side. I love that. Thank you so much for your time. Once again, tell people your website so they can find you and get some more information.
So if you go to geoffnicholson.uk, so that's Geoff the English way, that's GEOFF Nicholson.uk, and you can get all the information on how to connect with me and all of that stuff on there.
Awesome. Thanks so much for dropping some of that wisdom and sharing your personal story as well. I really appreciate that.
You're more than welcome. You have an amazing day.
Life Nation, you got to remember that in order for things to change, you must change. And in order for things to get better, you must get better. You just got better by hanging out with me, Michael Libas, and the Business and Life Nation. So come back tomorrow because I'm here dropping sound bombs 7 days a week, baby. If you'd like to subscribe, please do, so you can take action and execute. See you tomorrow.